welcome to the press conference for Sleeping Beauty. For those who have not seen the film, and I'm thinking in particular of the television audiences since this is broadcast live, to quote the production notes, Sleeping Beauty is a haunting, erotic fairy tale about Lucy, a young university student drawn into a hidden world of beauty and desire. As Lucy, Miss Emily Browning. As the lady who hires her and perhaps mentors her in some respect, Miss Rachel Blake. And the director, Miss Julie Lee. And I guess I'm going to throw the first question to you, Miss Lee, and it's a twofold question. One, you are a well-known and well-established writer. Your work's been translated into several languages. And what made you think that this story could not be told in a book, but be told only in film? And once you'd made the jump, or at least solved that riddle, how did you go about obliterating the writer to give as much breathing room to the director as possible?
You know, the truth is there was never really a riddle, in that it came to me in a completely cinematic form, so I never had to make a choice. The move from writing to literature seems actually quite natural for me, because it's all coming from the same place, which is my sensibility. And our sensibilities are informed by our entire lives and everything we've read, seen, listened to. And so it is coming from the same place, and the novelist and the filmmaker work with similar things in that they're working with complex characters. First of all, I should say they need to have something that they want to explore. That's probably the most important thing, and the singularity of that question perhaps, you know, shapes the whole work. So complex characters, detailed worlds. Also, with a novel and with a feature film, you're really working with the flow of time. And I think writing novels, you know, I learnt to be very aware of how to work with the flow of time. And so how, you know, you want the reader to be turning the page in a way. And I hoped that with this film, we wouldn't really know what to expect about what comes next. And I also hoped to hold a sense of, hold the line, like hold the tension. And I think, you know, writing novels, sustaining a long narrative in a way was transferable to making a feature film.
Except, no offense, when you write a sentence and you go from one sentence to the other, they sort of flow into each other. The way films are made, it's shot per shot, as an almost own entity. Yes, they do flow ultimately together, but that's the third stage of the writing, which is the editing, in part.
Well, okay, maybe. I mean, we have an unusual shooting style here, I guess, because we have these covering the scenes in one long take. From the outset, I had no intention of traditional coverage, which alarmed a lot of people, but when I proposed it to my DP, who he'd never done anything like it before, you know, he was challenged by this idea, and everybody who came on board, we knew from the beginning this is what we would be doing, and they were all interested in participating in that. And I mentioned that one long scene in a way because while we did an enormous amount of work in the edit, a lot more than you probably would think, we didn't have to build the scenes within, we didn't have to create the scenes in the edit. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have to work on the pace in the edit. We didn't have to shape it so much in the edit, as we would if we were doing traditional coverage and we had to really build it bit by bit. But we did employ a few tricks, actually, that are secret hidden stitches that I will never reveal.
Question over here, and then over there, and then here.
Good afternoon, Bruce Kirkland from the Toronto Sun. Question for Emily Browning. Extraordinary performance.
Thank you.
But it's obviously pretty raw and primal material that you have to explore, and I'm curious what happens to an actress presented with this kind of role where you have to go so out there, so to speak, not just physically, but that's true, but also emotionally. So I'm curious what went through your mind to say, yes.
I mean, I sort of said yes immediately after I read the script. I was really affected and felt sort of uncomfortable when I read the script in the best possible way. Like, I love the idea of challenging myself in that sense. I was kind of, I live in Melbourne in Australia, and we filmed in Sydney, and I don't really have many friends there, and so I became a little bit isolated while I was making the film, which I think was important for the character. And yeah, I don't know, I mean, I sort of became a bit of a hermit. I guess that's kind of how it affected my personal life. I would go and swim in the ocean by myself every morning and come home